Good morning.
Good morning, Facebook. How are you?
My name is Rudy. I'm
So this is Serena Vasecki, and Serena is the speaker who can't speak and the writer who can't write. Right, and me, well, I'm Jamila Doolin, and Serena refers to me as his right-hand woman. Right, so Serena's job is to inspire you. It's to motivate you. And ultimately, he just wants to help you achieve your goals.
Today, I thought we go
Can you repeat that for me, please, Serena?
Today, I thought we go.
So today you're talking about going forth and inspiring yourself.
Listen, I wish I need to get better. Listen to me as a speaker.
Right, so what Serena said was this. He wishes that what you needed to do to get inspired was just to sit back and listen to some inspirational people like him.
If that happens, my business would be I would be alive.
Serena said if that's how things went, like if it were really just that easy, it would be kind of awesome because that means that he could just do these and then he could make a lot more money and you could be inspired and you'd be reaching your goals and he'd be reaching your goals and it'd be like one big inspirational kumbaya moment and you would like that.
Well, unfortunately, you can't work. Unfortunately, you can't work everything. If you don't want to be inspired, you won't be inspired.
Right. So Serena said this. You know, the truth is this, and it's, in his view, unfortunate, and it is kind of unfortunate, that you can watch all these inspirational things, and you can read all the inspirational materials, and you can follow one inspirational person after another. You can go to conference and all this other stuff, but it's just not that easy, right?
You get inspired.
Yeah, what it really boils down to this. You need to inspire yourself.
You gotta make a day happen.
You have to make the day happen.
A day happen.
You have to make inspiration a daily habit.
Yeah. But let me see
Okay, so before we go any further, it's probably a good idea to slow down, roll back, and start at the beginning. And that is, what's motivation? What's inspiration? Because it would kind of help to make sure we understand those things before we really get into this conversation.
You know, the problem that a lot of people throw these terms, these are the terms without explaining them.
Right, and Serena said one of the things that he's noticed is that people do just that. They throw out the term motivation, and they throw out the term inspiration, and they never really define what those are, so they almost use them, say, interchangeably, right?
Yeah.
But they're not synonyms.
Even more than that,
Even dreams, persistence, passion, goals, determination.
These are things that people just throw out.
Right, these are words that are just thrown out. It's like speaking inspirational ease. It's like its own language, right? These are the key words in the...
Yeah, but what is
Right, but let's get down to it. What is inspiration and what is motivation?
Inspiration is the way that I look at it. You can check it's not scientific.
Okay, the way Serena looks at it, and mind you, we're going to tell you up front, this isn't scientific.
And if you look at another information, whatever you define the way you want.
I'm sorry?
Define the way you want.
Right. These are Serena's definitions, and if this doesn't really work for you, maybe you need to adjust the definition to meet your needs a little better.
So, I think maybe has to do with time.
Right, so Serena said he thinks motivation has to do with task.
Yeah, you gotta be motivated to get out of bed. Motivated to get out of bed.
Yeah, you've got to have motivation to go to bed.
Motivated to go to the gym.
Yeah, you've got to be motivated to go to the gym.
Motivated to pick up a book off a bookshelf.
Yeah, you got to be motivated to pick up a book off of a bookshelf.
Motivated to read my chapter of a book.
Yeah, motivated to read a chapter of the book. So is motivation what makes you move?
Yeah. It makes me move. And inspiration has to do with the big picture of life.
Okay, so motivation is the verb that makes you move. It makes you take action, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, inspiration.
Inspiration has to do with the big picture of life.
Has to do with the big picture of life.
What do you want for you? What do you want for yourself?
What do you want for you?
What do you want for your family?
What do you want for yourself? What do you want for your family?
What can you have?
What kind of
Experience you have?
the types of experiences you want to have?
And those things are really personal. Those things are really personal.
Yeah, those things, they're personal. They're kind of yours, right?
Yeah. That's why I can't do with you. That's why I can't.
Yeah.
That's why I can't do with you.
Right. So he said, look, these things are yours. They're personal. And that's why, honestly, he can't give it to you. You can't give them inspiration. You can tell them their story, your story, and your story might make them feel inspired.
Yeah, I could give you two. I could give you two. I could give you two. I could give you two tools.
Right, you can give tools to help you find your inspiration.
And that's where I want to work. That's where I want to work.
And that's
the
point of what you do.
And that's my mission to empower you to control your own destiny.
Right, and that's actually Serena's mission. It's to empower you to control your own destiny.
I do that through books, undergraduate and coaching. I do that through books, undergraduate and coaching.
Right, and Serena does that through books, online classes, and coaching.
So you want more go to my website.
Yeah, if you want more about that, you want to learn more about those things, you can just go to Serena's website, and there's so much more information there. It's serenav.com. Also, if you look in the description here, there's a link to it there. Yeah. Yeah, so now we are returning from the commercial break and back to what we were talking about, inspiration and motivation.
What do you want for yourself?
Right, so let's really look at inspiring yourself. What do you want for your family? What do you want for, say, yourself?
Every week, we sit down and carve time sometimes for yourself and get inspired.
Right, and so every week,
carve out time for yourself.
Carve out a time for yourself.
to inspire
To inspire yourself.
and really, what do you want? Why do you want it?
Right. And really think about what you want, and not just what you want, because it's easy to come up with what you want, but really get down there and really think about why you want it. That could really lead to some interesting paths, don't you think, Serena?
I love this category that really inspired the two categories that
All right, so there's two categories that really inspire you.
Yeah. And me.
And they're personal to you.
Yeah. Number one is I love experience.
Serena loves experiences.
I love traveling. I love creating. I love traveling. I love meeting people.
Right, so Serena loves experiences. He loves to travel, and he really loves to meet people.
And I really love creating stuff in my office.
And you love creating?
Stuff in my office.
Stuff in your office.
When I go office, when I'm really excited about.
Right, and so when Serena goes on Facebook Live, he's like super excited to get on.
Because I get to see inspire and help you to your goals.
Right, because Serena gets to teach, he gets to inspire, and he gets to help you achieve your goals. So this is like all Serena stuff. This is like Serena and Happy Zone.
So the second thing that inspires me, I have family.
And the second thing that inspires Serena is his family.
Yeah, I have a wife, a beautiful wife, and she's beautiful girl.
Serena has a really sweet wife and two of the brightest eyed boys I think I've seen in a while.
I have a 4-year-old and almost 6-year-old.
Yeah, a 4-year-old and almost 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Nice guys.
And they're my life. And as we get older, I want business that give me the opportunity to any keep a dream of.
Right, and so what Serena said was, those kids are his life. And so he wants to make sure that as they age, he has a business that matures and is mature enough to support them the way he wants to see them supported. So that they can have, basically all the opportunities and experiences that they desire.
So whether they go after a good college.
Yeah, that could mean going to an amazing college when they're at that age. It might mean going to some amazing summer camps when they're at that age.
Yeah. Or if you get into Ivy League.
Yeah, maybe going to Ivy League. Maybe what it means is, hey, you know what, Dad? I love playing the violin and taking violin lessons. Whatever that may be.
They're karate,
Yeah, karate. They're in karate and piano. And to any of you who are watching and you are parents, you know that providing them with those types of experiences, one is valuable. And you don't think you can put a price tag on it, except for the people who provide these services have put a price tag on it. And that price tag is usually not that small. So it takes something. And so this is what propels you. This is what feeds you inside to give you the motivation to propel you to go do what you need to do.
Now, they were television. Television.
There's a one kind of person.
That is, it to do for my kids.
Who would say, that's so nice that, I'd love to go do that for mine too.
And the that goes, I'm going to make it out.
Right. There's one type of person who will say, hey, look, this would be nice to make it happen. Another one says, hey, look, I'm going. That's not just going to be nice to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen.
I am really, I am investing time, money, energy to make my dream come true.
And Serena said he's the type that will invest his time, money, and energy to make this come true.
Yeah. That's why I'm inspired.
Right. That's why you believe in inspiring yourself. Can I just take a little step backwards for a second?
Yeah.
So you know how you were talking about having to really search deep and find out what it is you want and why you want it?
Yeah.
Right. So, and this is my question. As you're doing that, do you think it leads to a certain amount of self-discovery, for example, or just to deeper thoughts about what you want in life? And my example being this. I can remember at some point in my life wanting a house. And wanting a house because I wanted a house. Everybody else had a house. I wanted to buy a house.
Yeah.
But then as time went on and I started to really think about it, it was more than just the material thing that I wanted. I wanted a home.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't have a family, but I eventually wanted a family. I eventually wanted to be able to give that family an asset that I could, give them a legacy, a financial legacy. So, do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. That's more of why you want it. Because a lot of people say, I don't know, because that's how society turns.
Right, and that's where I started. I wanted a home because society told me I needed a home. Like a house, not a home, but a house.
Yeah, I know. But each is more, you make personal.
Right, and then I made it more personal. And that's kind of where the inspiration came in, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the first part might have been just motivation.
Yeah.
But then when it became personal, it became an inspiration.
You want it, add it to, pass down to kids.
Exactly. I wanted an asset to pass down to my kids. Yeah.
Inspiration is not all positive.
That's true. Inspiration is not always positive.
It can be negative.
It can be negative.
I'm inspired by that. Very hard. One day I really got my handicap. My handicap. Got better me.
Right. Serena said, look, for him, he knows that if he doesn't try hard, then one day he's going to look back and say, wow, my handicap, well, it got the better of me. And come on, that's not where Serena wants to be.
Yeah.
Shoot, that's not where anybody would want to be.
But MG is inspiring.
What's inspiring?
That is.
Those negative thoughts can be inspiring.
Yeah, that's what inspiration is. This kumbaya moment. You can't do what you don't want.
Alright, so a lot of people think that inspiration is this, you said competitive moment?
Kumbaya moment.
Oh, a kumbaya moment.
Yeah, but it can be there. But if you didn't try, what if you did try?
Right, it could be a what if you didn't try hard.
You know what? You want to grow, you want to be, when you're older, you don't want to have that many regrets.
Right, when you get old and you're walking downhill, you just don't want to have a lot of regrets.
And that can inspire, that can inspire to try hard.
Right, and that can inspire you to try hard. I had a negative inspiration.
What?
I think I told you about it.
Yeah.
So I grew up a child of divorce, and this was in the 70s, and they were doing...
Oh, yeah. I love this example.
You like this example? And so this was in the 70s. And in the 70s, there were all types of reports coming out that children of divorce would end up in jail, end up pregnant early, wouldn't graduate high school, and basically would be a drain on society. And so you can imagine being an elementary school kid hearing this, that these things are going to happen to you just because your parents got divorced. And whereas some people might have heard that and kind of given up, for me, it was a personal challenge. Like I internalized it and made it personal and said, I can't believe somebody would say something about me like this over something I had no control over, and I'm going to show you. And that was that inspired me, because I had made it personal. It inspired me to make sure that those things weren't my reality.
When I'm busy in my life, what's your team?
One of
moments when I decided to go to USC.
All right, so one of the biggest moments in your life was when you had to do something at USC?
I go to USC.
When you decided to go to USC.
I thought I could. And one of the big experiences I would think, if I didn't go, I would always die. I would miss on a college plane just because I haven't gotten.
Right, and so one of the things that inspired Serena was thinking that, you know what, if I don't go, then I'm going to miss out on the college experience just because of a handicap.
And even though I had part of a vision on the other side, I had the negative experience. Was pretty stronger than the other one.
Right, and so even though Serena had that positive, he did have positive motivation, he also had that negative motivation, was actually for him stronger than the positive one. And what happened? You went to USC.
I'm going to go again.
Yeah, you're going to go speak there again. Yeah. He's one of those alumni that you want, that kind of likes to give back to the school in various ways. That's it. All right. So.
Let me tell you why it's so important to inspire yourself.
Okay, so why is it important to inspire yourself?
Because there are so many negative messages in the world.
Mm-hmm. The reason it's important to be able to inspire yourself is because in the world, there are negative messages. A lot of negative messages.
Society you can't be that.
Yeah, society will tell you, you can't be this because of that. You can't go to USC because you're in a wheelchair. You can't be a productive member of society because your parents got divorced. You can't fill in the blank because fill in the blank. There you go.
And we have all the messages all over the media, all over the place, all over the world.
Right. You know, you get these messages everywhere. You get them from the media. You get them, from the media, a whole bunch. You get them from other people. You know, they're just... Yeah, your narrative. These messages are there. They're just there. And like you said, sort of, they're part of your narrative. Sometimes even the people that you care about the most.
No, that's a good one. I was saying it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, it's awesome.
Okay.
People that love you.
Sometimes people that love you.
Their narrative prevents them from giving the support that you need.
Right. Their narrative can prevent them from giving you the support that you need. Go ahead.
For example, I went to a lot of self-help. I went to a lot of personal stuff in my life.
You went through a lot of personal development in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I do this one job. That's what I'm doing right now. That's what I do
That's
right
what
now.
you do right now. So, yeah, you kind of studied it a little bit.
So I am immersed in the self-help industry.
What about the self-help industry?
I am immersed.
So you're immersed in the self-help industry.
I love it. It's my group.
Yeah, it's your people. It's your tribe. You found your tribe, Serena.
I love it. Guess what?
What?
Not every I deal with believe in my energy.
Yeah, not everybody that Serena knows and believes, and deals with, believes in this industry.
Some people think it's a scam.
Yeah, some people think it's a scam.
Some people don't see the value.
Some people don't see the value.
If some people, more people never self-help books.
Yeah, and most people don't read self-help books.
Luckily, I don't really understand. I don't involve the people in that part of my life.
Right, and fortunately for Serena, he does not involve those people in that part of his life.
What if I did? What if I did?
But what if he did?
What if I went to seminar? I learned that. I came home and I told myself, let me get what I learned.
Yeah, so Serena said, what if I went to a seminar and I came back and I'm excited and I'm trying to share this information.
And because that's how much that number get back to that's what works.
Right, and then the response is, that's hogwash, it'll never work, get back to your life and do what does work.
And you don't want to disrupt your life. You don't want to disrupt your relationship. So you just, okay, you're right.
And then just to keep peace, because you don't want to disrupt your life and you don't want to disrupt your relationships. You just kind of give in. Yeah, Serena, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And that happens with people that we love.
Yeah, and that does happen with people that we love. Did you have something else?
And, they're not doing it to you. They might tell us something to protect you, but in reality, they're hurting you.
Right. So often, they don't do that because they're trying to hurt you. They're actually trying to protect you. But what they don't realize is that protection it's hurting. It hurts you inside. We have an incident with that in our family. We have a few people actually, that we're out trying to do our thing and we're trying to do what we think is best. And maybe it's a little different, it's out of the box. It's not exactly what these people are used to seeing. It's different from what they're used to. And that difference, that not being comfortable with something, brings out their fears and their protective instincts, and then that comes back to negative comments for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun.
So, you're right.
But I'm right about what?
The other people, they're not intentionally trying to sabotage you or make you not reach your dreams. They're narrative including you.
Right. Exactly. So what Serena said was this. So often these people, they aren't intentionally being negative. They aren't out there trying to sabotage you. They aren't sitting up at night thinking of all the horrible things they can do to you to make you not succeed. That's not it at all. They're really just trying to protect you. And it's their narrative that's chiming in their ear, it's yapping in their ear, and it comes out to you.
Yeah. So, I'm going to get into working the way of inspiration.
Okay, so what sort of segue is he really wants to get into what gets in the way of inspiration.
Okay, first, inspiration is not our natural tendencies.
Right, so the first thing is this. Inspiration isn't exactly a natural tendency.
We are wired to think about the negative.
Right, so we're just naturally wired to think about the negative.
So for example, when we were people, we were eating words, and then you felt fire.
Alright, so let's repeat that for me, please. When we were cave people, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were wired to be hiding for attacks.
Okay, so when we were cave people, we were wired for attack?
To be alert for attack.
To be alert for attack.
Yeah. We wanted to know an attack us.
We wanted
To be ready.
We wanted to be ready.
For
animals, the big ones, T-Rexes with the little arms.
To attack us.
To attack us.
Yeah. So that's why we, in the Saturday we are wired for the negative.
And so thousands of years later, here we are, and we've evolved, but we are still wired for the negative.
You can have the best day in the world.
You can have the best day.
Yeah.
You can have the best day in the world.
And go to the market. Go to the market.
And
have a rude cashier.
And then have a rude cashier.
And that cashier rude.
And then that cashier
Rude.
can ruin your day. If you let them. Hopefully you don't.
If you let, but here's the thing, a lot of people do.
And that's the thing. A lot of people do
I
let
love-
that happen.
A lot of people that. A lot of people that. When God cuts out run all day.
Yeah, that's the worst. A lot of people will. They'll let that one person who cut them off on the freeway ruin their day. And that's really, when you think about it, think about how many people are driving on that freeway with you who are doing just fine. And that one person, out of all of those people, does something and that can ruin your day. That's crazy.
You know what happened last night?
What happened to you last week?
We had a schedule issue.
That was hilarious.
Schedule issue.
Yeah, so last week, we had a scheduling issue. I guess could we say we actually had a scheduling issue?
And this good.
Okay.
We had a schedule issue.
Yeah, so last week we had a scheduling issue.
She told me, she told me something about it. She told me something about it.
Yeah, and so I told someone about the scheduling issue.
And first of all, you got the wrong day.
Yeah, and then and mind you, this was something, I think I was fretting on it for like maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
I was fretting for like 2 days.
Look, first of all, you got the wrong day.
And then Serena's response was, well, let's start here. First, you have the wrong day.
And even if you got the wrong day, we work out.
And then even if you didn't have the wrong day, we could work it out.
I do understand from 1 to 10, this is a 5.
Right, and so then what Serena said was, hey look, you know what? In life, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is like a 0.5. But by this point, I had already fretted for 2 days and made it like a 12.
I don't have time to think about a 5.
Yeah, and Serena's response was, I don't even have time. I don't have the time, desire, the wherewithal, the bandwidth, anything to deal with a 0.5, even if you did make it a 12.
Yeah. I do have muscle spasm.
You just had a muscle spasm.
This is my wife.
As a 0.5.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, that just is, right?
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
I never get mad unless it's about 5 or 6.
You never get mad unless it's a 5 or a 6?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad.
But how often do people get mad at a 5?
Yeah. How often do people do like I did, which was take that 0.5, make it a 12, and then get mad?
But again, that's our natural instinct.
That's our natural instinct.
And that's why you get calibrated.
And that's why
They calibrated
you have the counterbalance
with inspiration.
with inspiration.
No, I don't even want to get this week.
Okay, so there's another point someone wants to make, and we're going to move right on into that point.
You know how to do that. It's negative.
You know how?
I just said, everything is to be negative.
Yes, Serena said, you know how he just said that our natural instinct is to kind of lean toward the negative?
So, if that's the case, I go to that. Has to be the positive.
And if that's the case, then our go-to, the one that we're actually our conscious go-to, right, needs to be a positive.
And there's the opposite of the thing it works.
And that's the opposite of how you think it would work.
The opposite it works.
The opposite is work.
Yeah.
So to consciously make yourself positive is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Takes work.
Yeah. So, one thing is, it takes work to inspire to work to find out the things and to be inspired.
Alright, so what Serena said was, it takes work to follow your instincts, fight your instinct, and be inspired.
Well, for example, if you see yourself being a coach.
For example, let's say you find yourself annoyed at work.
Well, it's up to you. It's a fun life.
And that means it's up to you to look at that scale and put it where it is, which is probably right around, say, a 0.5.
And after you get something about it.
And then even better, once you figured out that it is a 0.5, to put it in that 0.5 category, leave it there, and don't think about it again.
How are you with someone and then put fun in it?
So I'm married. And so, yes, I have had that argument. So the question was, have you ever had an argument with somebody and it seems like a serious argument, like it's a real conversation. You guys are really there, right? Not necessarily the fight being really there, but it's a real conversation. You guys are both very serious and intent in it. Only to realize 5 minutes after the conversation that you can't even really remember what it was about. And you can't remember why you felt so strongly.
Okay, I know this could be not even a woman.
Right. Serena said, on the other end, I said I'm married, so that, you've had these arguments. But Serena gave another example, which makes me feel really silly now. He has 2 little ones, a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. And you see it with them all the time. One minute they're besties, the next minute they're arguing over who knows what, and then they're besties again. And if you ask them what that argument was about, they probably wouldn't even remember they had an argument, more or less remember what it was about.
Okay. So it's really is tiring.
So here's the thing. Inspiration is challenging.
So it's up to you to read that self-help book.
And the deal is, it's up to you to
read that self-help book.
Read that self-help book.
It's up to you to call a friend that inspires you.
Right, and it's up to you to call that friend who inspires you.
Up to you to reach out to your mentor.
And it's up to you to reach out to your mentor.
You have tools of inspiration. You have tools of inspiration.
2 weeks?
Tools.
You have tools of inspiration.
Whatever I do, they can be books, they can be online, they can be
right. It could be books, it could be online classes, it could be coaching, it could be us on Facebook Live, it could be friends, it could be whatever it is. It could be the negative, like the person who tells you that you can't do it and you have to prove them wrong.
I'm not sure anything they were doing because easy.
You said you aren't suggesting they go to the negative because that's the easy one?
Yeah. But it's good to have money work.
But it's good to?
Easy to go to what inspires you.
But it's better to go to what inspires you.
And it's work.
And it's work.
Let me give you a brief extreme example.
Are you going to give an extreme example?
Okay, I have an extreme.
Yes, it is kind of extreme. Okay, so you're extreme, and you're going to give an extreme example.
So we are working on campaign.
Yeah, so right now we're working on a marketing campaign.
And we've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a while.
And it was not working. It was not working.
Yeah, and unfortunately for us, it wasn't going exactly the way we had hoped.
So I made a couple of changes. I'm still making it. I'm making it loud.
Right, so of course, if things aren't going the way you want, it's only one thing to do. Adjust. And so Serena's currently making those adjustments.
And I was discouraged.
Right. And, sometimes in this whole process, a person can become discouraged. And that's where Serena was. He was discouraged.
So I signed up for two online classes.
So part of the way to get past this was to learn more. So Serena signed up for some classes, really work on educating himself.
And these were 2 5-hour classes.
Yeah, and these classes were like 5 hours apiece.
So before I watched the classes. I watched the classes.
Right, and so before you did anything, you watched the classes.
And part of the reason why I watched it was obviously education.
Right, and so part of the reason that Serena watched the classes was education.
Mostly guess what?
What?
I wanted to inspire myself.
Because he wanted to inspire himself.
My book means so much to me that I wanted to sit through 5 hours of working videos.
Right, Serena's goals mean so much to him that he's willing to sit through 5 hours. 5 hours of marketing videos.
10 hours.
Excuse me, 5 hours of 2 classes, so that's 10 hours of marketing videos.
And guess what? I just want another marketing class.
And now we just found out that Serena bought another marketing class.
And let me tell you, it sounds as fun as it is.
And it sounds as fun as it is.
It's tedious. It's tedious.
It's tedious.
But that's what I gotta do to inspire myself.
But that's what you have to do to inspire yourself.
It's not only by the way, it's not fun. It's not natural. It's not fun, but it's necessary.
Right, so the bottom line is this. Inspiration. Inspiration is not fun. It's not natural. But you know what it is? It's necessary.
See,
What's that?
I think that when people take on inspiration, they want to play this nice box.
So I said, his feeling is this, that when people talk about inspiration, they just want to put it in a box.
They want to go, okay, one day inspiration will hit you over there.
Yeah, they think that, one day they're going to walk down the street, they're going to get struck by something, and that something's going to be inspiration.
And that could happen if it happens. Awesome.
Yeah. Who's to say it won't happen? We're not. And if that does happen, awesome. Should you wait for it to happen? Probably not.
But, you don't want it to happen. You don't want it to happen.
You don't want it to happen.
No, you don't want it to happen. You don't want it to happen.
Why?
When you look at it. When you look at it yourself.
When you work at it yourself.
It's gonna seem that will happen one day. That will happen one day.
Alright, so when you work on it yourself.
Then one day.
You
can have these moments.
You can have those moments.
But if you don't work at it.
But if you don't work at it.
Really, it's gonna happen automatically.
Then it's rarely going to happen automatically.
It can, but it very won't.
It can, but most likely it won't.
Believe me, I wish I could tell you the opposite.
You wish you could say the opposite, but it's just not
Yeah. If I could tell you the opposite, then I would get a lot more inspiration.
Right, turns out if he could tell you the opposite, then he could be a lot more inspirational.
You know what? I could tell you the opposite, but that wouldn't be the
Right. And so he said, look, I could sit here and open my mouth and let the opposite come out, but then I'd be leaving out part of the truth.
And it was something, it was definitely.
Yeah.
And it would get excited.
Yeah, it'll sound good.
It would get excited.
It'll get you excited.
But it won't help you achieve your goals.
But it won't help you achieve your goals.
I'm gonna do 3 things for me right now.
Alright, so Serena said he'd really like you to do 3 things for him.
I wrote a blog.
Yeah, Serena wrote a blog.
What's a blog?
Yeah, the link to it is right there in the description.
And then I want you to go to my website, check out my books.
Yeah, check out his books. The link to the website is right there in the description.
And share, comment, like and love this post.
And finally, like and love this post. Share it. Send it out to others. Don't keep it to yourself.
My name is Shirley, and she came in, God bless you, and go be me.
Right, so this is Serena Basabi. I'm Jamila Doolin. Go be amazing. And you know what? Go inspire yourself. You have an amazing day. Thank you so much.